The world may have ended, but Junkyard Joust continues. Baby Humongous Cookie rules over the joust with an iron fist. If you want fuel, she's got it, but you have to win. And to win the Junkyard Joust, you have to survive it.
The first Apocalypse Joust semifinal was insane, and I expect nothing less than that for this one. Hi everybody, I'm Aaron Yonda, and we've got 40 cars lined up and ready to crash. 8 teams competing, 3 teams can move on to the finals. Let's take a closer look at our teams. Team Beaverworks has some serious weight on their team, as well as some undercutters and a survivor. Big L's Beneath has undercutting, a ramp, and a bomb. Black Death has a ramp, some good undercutting, and a mousetrap. Lily's Boneyard has a couple of traps and some good weight. Numbskull Racing has a couple good survivors and some devastating offense. Shawinigan's Shenanigans has an airplane and the Big Bang Bus. Task Force Booger's got some good survivability, and they are armed to the teeth. Troubled Minds has a heavy bus and some good low-slung vehicles. Let's get this second semi-final started, Cookie.
Yeah, Winslow, I'm very glad we are all together. Can't do it myself.
Off we go to the top of the hill for round 1, starting out with Scout for Team Beaverworks, sponsored by Chome. The running order is randomized, but the teams get to decide which car to send down when it's their turn. Task Force Booger has chosen Gary Glowbright first, sponsored by Bentley's Brakes and Bumpers. And of course, a car is counted out at the end of the round if it's sideways or upside down. Sideways is beyond 45 degrees. Special Delivery, 156 grams, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings. It's for Lily's Boneyard, and wow, what a massive strike for that vehicle, taking out 2 of the cars, all the cars on the track, and there is a jump in the back of that vehicle. It did not quite deploy, but what a devastating takedown right there. Formulator up first for Troubled Minds, sponsored by Sicken. Special Delivery gets whomped by Formulator, knocked sideways on the track. Formulator goes curbside. Stingrod for Shawinigan's Shenanigans, sponsored by Party Marty. Stingrod pushes Formulator off the track. Formulator staying nice and level and safe. Stingrod parks up behind Special Delivery. Mendez for Big Al's Beneath, sponsored by Mark the Music Lover. Mendez slides underneath. Stingrod tosses it a little ways up in the air, not too far. Stingrod tries to slide off to safety, can't quite make it. Duck and Roll up first for Numbskull Racing, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. Big hit from Duck and Roll, knocks Special Delivery off the track completely. Stingrod pushed sideways on that hit, and Scout is trying to make a recovery up front. Heavy Mauler, 149 grams for Black Death, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings. Heavy Mauler, a surprisingly light hit right there. Duck and Roll gets thrown off the track to safety, and nothing else going on with that hit, but maybe, just maybe, that mousetrap will go off. I've been informed by Team Beaverworks that I was right the first time. Beaver Muth is how you pronounce it, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings. 132 gram slam from Beavermuth. Wow, look at the way it tosses Heavy Mauler up in the air, covering Mendez up completely. Heavy Mauler flexing, and that trap getting pushed almost underneath the back of the vehicle, propping the back end up. Could be a dangerous position to be in for Mauler. Big Gun Brody, sponsored by Emo Dingo. Big Gun jumps off the back of Beavermuth, keeps it fairly level, and Heavy Mauler goes over. Looks like it got a little unstable with that back part pushed underneath, and Heavy Mauler almost certainly done. It would be a close call for Big Gun Brody right now. Master of Muppets, 126 grams for the Boneyard, sponsored by DYW Production Labs. A massive wallop from Master of Muppets, and Beavermuth pushed off the track about halfway off. Master of Muppets balanced in a very tough position, and look who's recovered up front, it's Scout. Ain't Flair, 101 gram bus, sponsored by Hendrika's Heavy Hauling. A massive hit again, and Master of Muppets is taken down, pushed over upside down. And look at this, Beavermuth, one of the heaviest vehicles out there, pushed over sideways, unbelievable. That was a double takedown, and the bus also took itself out. Here comes Shawinigan Handshake, sponsored by Chicken Rings. Handshake bounces off that heavy bus that's stuck on the track, almost escapes. Didn't quite make it though. The Divine Congregation for Big Al, sponsored by G-Zeus. Divine Congregation sets up that ramp and does a nice little takedown of Shawinigan's Handshake. And now the Golden Ramp of Doom is prepared. Turtle Shell, certainly Turtle Shell should be able to handle it, sponsored by Reaper EOD. Turtle Shell takes that jump and does not handle it. The Turtle Shell vehicle, known for being able to take ramps, makes it up to a height of 5, hits the wall, bounces back, and maybe gets caught up in the pile. Cannot make a full recovery. Under Carnage, sponsored by Choroth the Infinite Horror. The low front on this thing gets underneath that ramp. The Divine Congregation thrown up in the air, thrown over, and it makes a nice recovery. Under Carnage created for this exact problem, and it has solved it. Hammered Beaver, sponsored by Tim the Bear Neal. 102 grams, but there is nowhere to go. Even Under Carnage can't get underneath the sideways bus, and the two cars slowly back down the track. Dick Missile, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. Dick Missile slams into the two cars and pushes them back up again. This time Under Carnage has a little bit more luck getting underneath the bus. Here comes the Hammer Arm, and Hammer sponsored by Regal Radio. Arm and Hammer lets loose, and I don't even know what happened. A lot of flopping around. It looks like the Hammer deployed and Dick Missile was thrown around pretty good, but actually made a recovery. Unfortunately, Arm and Hammer loses control from the force of its own hammer and goes out. Old School for Troubled Minds, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. Old School slams into place, locks it in, and actually may have saved its teammate. The bus looks like it is just about back right side up. Indeed it is, as this shot confirms. We've got a pretty good amount of carnage on the track right now. We're about halfway through this round. And now it's Turbine Time, sponsored by Chicken Rings. Old School gets squished between Hammered Beaver and Turbine Time and gets forced off the track upside down and out. The Divine Bomb, sponsored by Bentley's Brakes and Bumpers. Divine Bomb, a nice smack to Turbine Time. Can't get it off the track quite, but goes curbside pretty good. 200 grams of hauling gas coming down the track, sponsored by PriceX Private Parts. A big section of the track cleared off entirely by that hit. At least 2 eliminations, maybe 3. Turbine Time, the lone survivor, heading up to a height of 6 before landing it. And yep, it's a
triple takedown.
Hammered Beaver, the Divine Bomb, and Dick Missile all eliminated on that hit. Deadbolt now for Black Death, sponsored by Sloss Automotive Sachet and Buffet. Deadbolt tries to get underneath that low back end of hauling gas, starts to get underneath it, but also goes curbside. The Beaverari, sponsored by Brendan Walsh. The Beaverari pushes into Deadbolt. Deadbolt manages to stay upright and get partially off the track. Hauling gas settling back in, and the Beaverari trundling off the track entirely. To the Aw TikTok You Don't Stop, it's Slick Richard, sponsored by PriceX Private Parts. Not a huge hit, but enough to swing Deadbolt around and knock it sideways. Slick Richard then pushing up on the back of Hauling Gas. Time for Death by Unicorn, sponsored by Sid from Cybertron. Slick Richard hurled into oblivion by the Unicorn as the Unicorn jumps off the back of Hauling Gas. Slick Richard hits the wall, makes it up to a height of 7 on the way there. Highest jump so far today. Hits the sign, bounces, lands upside down. Death by Unicorn doesn't look very promising for its survival right now either. Tour de Fast, sponsored by Jedi. Tour de Fast ramps off Hauling Gas, goes into the wall and slams down into position. Looks like it's probably right side up, hits a 6 on the way there, heaves itself into the wall and flips over. And let's take a look from above. That looks right side up, at least for the moment. Custom Jet Fighter, sponsored by Chicken Rings, Onion Wings. Jet Fighter gets hung up on Deadbolt and stops right behind Haul and Gas, pushing Deadbolt all the way over into Baby Humongous Cookie's throne vehicle. On guard now for the Beneath, sponsored by Stump's Tree Farm. On guard slams into the Jet and pushes it off. The Jet takes flight a little bit, but then On guard flips over and can't quite make it over those spiked springs on the top of Haul and Gas. The plane's gonna survive, but it does not look good for On guard. Another 200-gram vehicle for Numbskull 77 Dodge Van, sponsored by Chome. And that vehicle cannot handle its teammates' ramp at all. Flips over, gets hung up on the pile, and is almost certainly done. Let's see if Carwall fares any better, sponsored by Chicken Rings Onion Wings. Carwall sticks its horn underneath the ramp and stays in position. Pretty incredible stoppage right there. We'll see if it works out though after it takes a big hit from the Boom Beaver, sponsored by Reaper EOD. Narwhal cannot maintain that stability and gets thrown up and off the track by the Boom Beaver. Baby Daddy's up, sponsored by Farty Marty. If you remember, this car came apart at the seams during its qualifier. Baby Daddy gonna try to hold it together for this one. So far, so good. Locks it in. The Boss for Lily's Boneyard, sponsored by Sean's Toy Room. The Boss gives it to Baby Daddy, but Baby Daddy manages to hold it together this time. And look at this, Dick Missile is back right side up again. I don't know when exactly that happened, but that's good news for Task Force Booger. Caution, sponsored by Sauce Automotive. Caution gets underneath the Boss, throws the Boss up in the air, it balances on its gun, and then just can't quite keep it together to make that landing. Turns over sideways. Caution almost escapes the track completely. Would have been nice to escape it all the way. Big Bang Bus is coming down now, sponsored by Chicken Rings. The bus smashes into the line, and wow, there must have been some great repairs on Baby Daddy because that was a massive hit that it just absorbed. Caution escapes. Baby Daddy unfortunately goes upside down, but it did not break. Albina, sponsored by Miskatonic Automotive Club. Albina can't get under the bus. Tosses Baby Daddy up a little bit, but still upside down. Bubble Gunner, sponsored by Sicken. Bubble Gunner pushes Albina underneath the Big Bang Bus and somehow sets off the trap on Heavy Mauler. The trap doesn't really seem to do any damage, but it does kind of look like Heavy Mauler might be attempting some sort of recovery. Final car of the round, Flipstream, sponsored by Judy Collins. Flipstream slides into place, does not cause any damage. Had there been any more cars, that ramp would have been in position, but there are no more, and we've got just about half the field eliminated in round one. We've got to take a measurement on Heavy Mauler, who was sideways way back in the beginning of the round, and now somehow is under the 45-degree angle, and we'll go on to the next round. 20 cars eliminated. I got bad news for Lily's Boneyard. They did not have a good round. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Troubled Minds and Team Beaverworks each lost 2, Task Force Booger lost 3, and Lily's Boneyard completely eliminated from the match in round 1. Tough break. Over here, every team lost 2, so pretty even across the board. That means we've got 7 teams left in this match, and just about all of them have 3 cars remaining. Let's plow into round 2 and get this going. Formulator starting us off for Troubled Minds. The random running order is up. Formulator runs all the way up to the front and locks it in. Turbine Time tosses Formulator into the safety area. It tries to bounce back, but it should just stay up there. Much better situation to be in. And Formulator pays the price for not getting out of the way when it had the chance, gets flipped over nearly upside down. Could still be a chance of recovery, I suppose. Mendez makes the hit and Scout gets hurled off the track over in the corner and does not make a recovery. Makes it up to a level 5 on the way there. Turbine Time keeps it steady, is not out of danger yet though. Mendez goes curbside. Haul and Gas devastates the field. Mendez tossed off the track and goes upside down. Turbine Time turned over. It's close to the 45-degree angle, but could still be in. If not, there's no living cars on the track except for Haul and Gas. Black Death sends down Under Carnage. Under Carnage does not get underneath Hauling Gas, but doesn't go off of it either. Hauling Gas goes to the front. Big Gun Brody locks all 3 cars together, although Under Carnage now is starting to get underneath Hauling Gas. Could be trouble for Numbskull here. A massive hit from Ain't Flare for Troubled Minds, and it does cause damage. Hauling Gas does indeed get flipped over. Under Carnage is going off the track. Big Gun Brody somehow able to hang on. Yet another massive hit from another bus. Big Gun Brody is flipped into the air and somehow lands right side up. Goes up to a 6 on the way there, hits the wall and makes an impressive recovery. And the 2 other buses on the track are flipped over sideways still. That was a mean hit. Boom Beaver plows under the Big Bang bus and loses a gun in the process. Can't quite escape the track, and the bus gets pushed partially off the track, but stays level. That gun just got peeled right off the car. The Divine Congregation senses an opportunity to set up the ramp and does it by taking out Boom Beaver. Not even that hard of a hit, just enough oomph to tip it over. Bubble Gunner not interested in ramping and knocks the Divine Congregation off the track, but again, Divine Congregation showing some great agility here. Lands in relative safety on top of Boom Beaver. Ramp dismantled. Flipstream tries to muscle its way under Bubble Gunner with a little bit of success, and now the ramp is set up. Will it have any more luck than the Divine Congregation? Dick Missile speeds off the jump, flips over in the air, hits the Junkyard Joust sign. Few cars have been doing that lately, and makes it up to a height of 7 on the way down to an incredible recovery right next to its teammate, which did the same thing just a few hits ago. Caution takes the ramp, slams into Bubble Gunner, and not showing enough caution there, bobbles itself on the top of the bus, makes it up to a 5, and cannot make a recovery. So close, that's a big loss for Troubled Minds right there. Here comes the jet for Shawinigan's, and wow, it kind of didn't take the ramp. Didn't expect that. You'd think the jet would want to fly, but no, it gets tangled up in between Bubble Gunner and the bus. And that's an interesting position to be stuck in. Beaverari attempts to push the jet out of position and can't get it to move. Bubble Gunner starts to slide off, and the jet starts to level out. Albina takes a shot at the Beaverari and takes it out. Flips it over upside down, and right now it looks like Beaverworks is in deep trouble. Duck and Roll smashes into the pile. Albina pushed off, but manages to make it safe. And the jet now is turning more to the side. That could be Elimination land. Heavy Mauler smashes the jet upside down and finishes it off. Duck and Roll makes a nice maneuver there and escapes. And that is already the end of round 2. There were 20 cars left, and again, we are gonna lose half of the remaining cars down to 10. More incredible devastation, and we are gonna lose 2 teams in this round. There's all 10 of the eliminations. Let's take a look at the aftermath. Rough round for Beaverworks and Troubled Minds. They are out of the competition. Task Force Booger only lost 1 down to 2. Shawinigan's lost 2, they're just down to the bus. Big Al's Beneath lost 1 down to 2. Numbskull lost 1 down to 2, and Black Death did not lose a vehicle. Round 3, here we go. Black Death, the only team with 3 left. Heavy Mauler starts it out for them. The trap sets itself off on the way down. That thing must be getting kind of beat up at this point, but Heavy Mauler now in position. Big Gun Mauler, a big hit there, but can't move Heavy Mauler. Backs away a little bit. Bubble Gunner slices under Big Gun, and Big Gun makes another nice recovery, and that's going to keep Task Force Booger in this match. The Divine Congregation going for that ramp again, and it is locked in position. The 176-gram Big Bang bus goes flying off of that ramp, goes straight into the wall, bounces back, makes it up to a 6 with the back of the bus, and then somehow lands it. Man, that thing has some serious balance, and it keeps Shawinigan's alive. Undercarnage again manages to get underneath the Divine Congregation, and it makes almost a great recovery, hitting a height of 5 on the way there, but then look at that. Big Gun Brody in the way, and the Divine Congregation can't finish off the recovery. It is done. Dick Missile pushing into the line, and Bubble Gunner was already going under Heavy Mauler, and now Undercarnage going under Bubble Gunner. Duck and Roll pushes into the line and causes a couple things to happen. Undercarnage starts to go under Heavy Mauler. Bubble Gunner is trying to back up and get away from this mess. Albina strikes, and the time is ripe. It takes out Bubble Gunner, who couldn't get off the track. Heavy Mauler is tipping. Dick Missile and Duck and Roll safe for the moment. Flipstream knocks Duck and Roll off the track. Another great recovery for that vehicle. Heavy Mauler tips farther to the right, and Dick Missile manages to stay safe. So there's going to be 2 eliminations for sure in this round. We're going to take a measurement on Heavy Mauler. Looks like it is just under 45 degrees, so Heavy Mauler lives to fight another day. 2 eliminations, and no teams lost in that round. Task Force Booger steady at 2. Shawinigan stays alive, Big Al's beneath, and Numbskull down to 1. Black Death dominating right now at 3. And they're gonna start round 4 off with Heavy Mauler, who slides into position up at the front. Big Gun Brody comes down next, does not set off that trap. Then Duck and Roll slams into position, and Big Gun Brody goes sideways. Still on the track, though. This is certainly not the end for Brody. Albina gives Brody a chance to recover, and it does not. Flips over on the other side, out and probably done. Duck and Roll makes a nice leap to safety. A massive slam from the Big Bang Bus sends Heavy Mauler off the track. Mauler stays balanced for now, and the Big Bang Bus goes up on top of Albina. Wow, that was a crazy hit. It's impressive that the back of Heavy Mauler didn't break right off. Ooh, Undercarnage loses the big metal prong on top of the vehicle. It must have hit a bump in the track, and it flies off completely, goes way up into the air, and then comes slamming down onto the ground. That thing is gone, and now Undercarnage laid bare. No more protection up front. Dick Missile comes down, tries to take Undercarriage out, no good, and it goes curbside. Flipstream slides under Dick Missile, and this has been a bad round for Task Force Booger. Dick Missile agonizingly close to a recovery there, but can't make it, and that team is eliminated. That was the last car of the round. Looks like 2 eliminations and a prong eliminated in that round. And just like that, we are down to 4 teams. Task Force Booger is out. Shawinigans, Big Al's, Numbskull, and Black Death all still in it. 3 teams move on. Round 5, here we go. Black Death in a pretty good position. Heavy Mauler starting us off as usual, heading right down the track. And bam, nailed by Duck and Roll, who gets right off the track, escapes, and ensures Numbskull another round in the competition. The back of Heavy Mauler sure looks beat up at this point. The beatings will continue. Big Bang Bus pushing Heavy Mauler into the wall, straight up there. It maintains its position more or less. Albina gives the bus a little shunt, but nothing major. Undercarnage, with its prong removed, has no luck against the back of Albina. Bounces on top of the bus, and it seems like cars that hit the top of that bus always end up upside down. Flipstream has a scary moment on the back of Albina as well, manages to keep it level and almost escape the track, but that is the final car of this round. And the match will go on, only Black Death losing a car. They are going to be down to 2. Undercarnage just wasn't the same without that metal to protect it. Here we go, round 6. It's getting closer and closer. Black Death starting out with Flipstream this time. They decide to go down first with the ramp, maybe hoping to get the elimination that will propel them into the finals. Albina handles the ramp flawlessly, flying off to the right, keeping it steady and right side up. Duck and roll, that ramp is no problem for it. Hits the wall hard, but bounces back, keeps it right side up, and bam, another successful survival. The big bang bus hits the ramp, goes into the wall, and somehow bounces perfectly straight backwards back down the ramp. Don't even know how that's possible, but nonetheless, it did it, and it's about halfway down the track. Heavy Mauler takes a shot at the bus, but the bus just parks on top of the ramp. No harm done, no eliminations in that round. And just like in the previous semi-final, that means we are going to increase the speeds and try to get some eliminations. Round 7, all cars will increase their speed. Black Death have decided to send Heavy Mauler down first again, maybe seeing that ramp not super effective. Also not effective, the trap on Heavy Mauler right now, and they haven't even bothered to reset it. And now the back of Heavy Mauler, almost a little bit of a ramp as Duck and Roll goes up and goes off the track. Another nice recovery. Oh, the big bang bus demolishes Heavy Mauler, destroying it utterly. The trailer for Heavy Mauler hits a height of 7 before it gets thrown from the track. The front part of Heavy Mauler cannot make a recovery, so it is not coming back unless it somehow gets back upright. Wow, the bus taking no prisoners at this stage in the match. Albina pokes at the bus, but it is not moving, and now we've got one car left. Flipstream performs a little leap off the back of Albina, keeps it nice and steady, keeps Black Death in this match, but now everything has evened out. With the absolute destruction of Heavy Mauler, we've got 4 teams left in this match, and they each have 1 car. Man, Heavy Mauler just looks beat up. 4 cars left. The next elimination's gonna decide who moves on to the finals. Here we go, round 8. Speeds are still increased for this round. The random running order has been decided, and Black Death is first. Albina takes that ramp again and does a great job of recovering as usual. It was a little bit closer this time, but not too big of a problem. Duck and Roll takes the ramp, goes straight into the wall, and goes all the way over to say hi to Baby Humongous Cookie. Cookie very impressed by that recovery.
That was exciting.
And the big bang bus does it again, straight into the wall, keeps it steady, pushes Flipstream back down the track a little ways. And this is a fight to the death. No eliminations in that round, so we are going to increase the speeds again. If there are no eliminations in round 9, we will go no holds barred. The track buffer will be removed and cars can go down backwards. But right now they're just going down extra fast. Duck and Roll hits the back of Albina, goes up on the wall, and look at how high it gets before it lands, reaching a height of 8. Then it plummets to the ground, hits it, bounces, and it's a really unlucky bounce. Duck and Roll gets stuck up against the wall and does not make a recovery. To me, that looks like the only position that thing could ever have gotten in that would have eliminated it. Really tough break for Numbskull right there, though they could still have a chance if the big bang bus gets eliminated on this hit. A huge hit from the bus, and what just happened? The bus tips over, certainly looks like it's gonna be out, and then it just flips back up again. There's shards of paint and stuff flying everywhere. I just don't understand how the bus did what it just did. Just enough momentum to flip back over again. I've never seen anything like that before in all of the Junkyard Joust. Wow, the laws of gravity have just been broken. Here comes Flipstream. Flipstream slides underneath the bus, does not do any damage, does not self-eliminate, and that is it. We've got our 3 teams that are moving on to the finals. So many unusual and unlikely things happening in this match. It's just been strange. And Duck and Roll is out, putting Numbskull out of the competition. Duck and Roll in rough shape. We've got 3 teams moving on. Open the vaults, give them their gas, and send them on their way to the finals, which we will be seeing soon after the regular Junkyard Joust finals. Congrats to Big Al's Beneath, Black Death, and Shawinigan's Shenanigans. The vault is closed. Baby Humongous Cookie, send us off.
Ah, what's his name? Brad Knight, I like you. Thank you.
The next Junkyard Joust custom tournament will be starting up this fall. Start making your teams now and I'll get you more information as soon as I can. It will not be an apocalyptic theme, just a regular Junkyard Joust. The rules will be pretty much the same as the previous custom Joust. You can find all those over at Redline. There's a link in the description. Thanks for watching, everybody. Please leave a comment or like the video or even become a supporter. Patreon.com/JunkyardJoust. We'll see you next time on the Joust.